Good morning, it's Jim from Maverickstar Observatory. Just sitting here watching the sunrise. It's about 5:30 and just a few thoughts that were going through my mind with regards to the Earth's magnetic field. It should have gone through its reversal 500,000 years ago, so we're really overdue, and we are lucky to be in this time right now where the migration has started, and probably within about 3 years time, or maybe a couple more on top, give or take a few, it may go through its reversal. But on the other hand, the magnetic field might just collapse, and there's a real good chance that that could happen, and I believe that other scientists would agree with me on that because of the overdue reversal and the fact that it has been 500,000 years overdue. We live on a beautiful planet. It's a spaceship, really. I mean, it really is. It's revolving 24,000 miles on its axis every 24 hours, which is an amazing speed. I don't think we've got aircraft that can fly the same speed. We've got spaceships, the IS, the International Space Station can do that, yeah. But we don't have vehicles in our atmosphere that can fly that fast. If they did, they'd probably instantly burn up. But on top of that, our Earth is travelling around our Sun on its orbit at 64,000 miles an hour. You put your hand out of a window of a moving vehicle going that fast, and it will disintegrate within nanoseconds. It will set fire instantly. And yet, we do it. Now, I'm approaching my 47th trip around the sun this Saturday. And, this Earth has always amazed me. There is so much, if you have the time and the luxury of the time to just think about the beautiful world we've got. We've got everything we need. We don't have to bring anything to this world to survive. It's already here for us. It's not like if you're on the International Space Station, you need to take things there, your oxygen, your water, your food, and your utilities and things like that. We've got it here, and I've always respected that and appreciated that. I know it's really hard for people, that have got mortgages, have got families to feed, have got, jobs to worry about, the security of that job, especially in the time that we live now. I mean, 40 years ago, there was no such worries about job security. People used to boast, if you work for certain companies, you got a job for life. Everything's changed. Even with this COVID-19, it has brought changes to our way of life. I was just thinking, it could soon end. We could end up looking like Mars. Mars had a magnetic field that protected its atmosphere and its water on its surface. And when that ceased, and we've got the evidence to know that this was the case, when the magnetosphere on Mars collapsed, it was subject to, the ions stripping off the upper atmosphere, coming from the sun and the rest of the universe. And then, once the atmosphere was eroded, then it started eroding away the water. And we have a planet with an atmosphere, with water, and life. Maybe Mars did at one point in time in its early history, but it hasn't clearly got it now. We certainly haven't found it now. Not even microorganism life, and that would be enough to get any scientist excited, but we don't even know that. I mean, there are some moons that surround planets in our solar system that pose possibilities. Titan is one of them, an ice planet, and there is a hope that underneath the ice there is liquid water and possible life, but we've not sent probes there yet. and explored that fact. But you know, we don't have to look very far on this planet to find life. You go out the front door, there is life everywhere. Life in you know, in the soil, life on the surface of the terraform. There is life everywhere. And you know, I know a lot of people don't have the affordability of time to just sit back and appreciate what we've got. You know, why I do is, one of the reasons is I understand that, you know, it could be just a matter of years before we lose it all, and there is something that really poses that threat, and that is the delayed magnetic reversal. And people might be saying, oh well, you know, Gene, why are you worrying so much? Look, it's proved that it's come back again, you know. But yeah, this used to happen every 300,000 years. This time it's taken 780,000 years or thereabouts. So something has changed. Something's changed as well at this time, but not as important as the magnetic reversal. But something has changed with our sun right now at the moment. It is not producing sunspots at the frequency, at least it did 30 years ago. So it is like two things affecting our well-being on this planet that are coinciding with each other, and you could add the third, COVID-19. But both the grand solar minimum that we're in right now, over the last 33 years, for those that don't know what that is, it is the decaying of sunspot numbers over 33 years, and every 11 years we go through a solar cycle where the sun goes through its magnetic reversal, and then starts to during that time of the magnetic reversal on the sun, you know, there is very little sunspots, and then once it goes into its new cycle, you know, they start to increase. But for the last 33 years we've saw you know, a gradual decay of those sunspots. But when you're monitoring things like cosmic radiation, and we know how harmful that is, it's carcinogenic, causes cardiac arrhythmia problems, as well as other things, but it does affect all microorganisms on this earth. You know, across the range, every biodiversity is affected by cosmic particles. And when you have a low solar output and a weakening magnetosphere with an Earth going through its magnetic reversal, you have a double compounding problem. And you know, it makes you wonder, you know, where we're going to be in 10 years time, if anywhere. Are we going to still be on this planet? You know, we're still going to see leaves on the trees, we're going to see seasons, because all these things are now, what was constants are, you know, changing. You know, the jet streams are no longer predictable. You know, they seem to be, the polar jet stream seems to be coming further south towards the equatorial, over the northern hemisphere, and the same is happening over the southern hemisphere. You know, the polar jet stream is reaching up towards the equatorial region, and it is a direct result of, you know, the extra inbound cosmic radiation on our planet right now. And there's a lot of people that are not talking about it, you know, and there's a lot of people that can do a lot more research that clearly aren't doing it, even though they have single-handedly the ability to do that. I'll just run this video for you. This is Elon Musk's Starlink satellite train. As you can see, these satellites coming over the horizon there. His intention is to put about 2,000 of these up in space to improve 5G. It's incredible, isn't it? You know, you have an ability to do a lot more, but the most important thing for you is 5G. But I bet you there's a lot more behind these satellites' abilities and the reason why they are up there. You know, but you know, there's a lot of things I've been thinking about with regards to this. I mean, if there's just a couple of collisions with these satellites with other objects, it will cause a cascade effect, which, you know, NORAD are very concerned could happen. Yet he has been given the permission to put these satellites up there in the numbers that he is. What I'm talking about, if they come into collision, what basically we have is objects smashing into little tiny bits that are flying around low Earth orbit at 17,000 miles an hour plus. That means just one rivet or one screw off that satellite could tear through the International Space Station and destroy it. It'd be like a bullet going through it. It'd go through your helmet if you was out in space, and out the other end, you wouldn't even know it had happened till it happened. And that would eventually cause more collisions of other satellites, and basically would stop humans ever being able to have the ability to leave this planet, because there'd be so much dust and particles and debris flying around low Earth orbit that we'd never be able to put another rocket or satellite up there again. So it does surprise me. But what surprises me is he's got that ability, yet hasn't used it in other ways. You could have answered a simple question. In my view, I'm convinced that on the outer market beacon, on the outer market of our solar system, there are beacons transmitting not into the solar system but out, and that is saying that these transmissions are warning other intelligent life forms that have evolved to travel great distances, communicate great distances, not to enter into this solar system, because there is an undeveloped species with technological advancements, albeit primitive, but they are very dangerous. I bet you if Elon Musk sent one of those satellites out of our solar system and just listened back in on what was being transmitted out towards the rest of this universe, we would answer that question. That there is an intelligent life out there, many of them from many worlds, and they are worried about us probably having the ability to get to their worlds in the state of mind of unevolutionized manner. They don't want us there because we're very much at war with each other still on this planet. We haven't even got to grips with living peacefully with each other yet. So the last thing any intelligent life form would want would be for us to have the ability right now to travel out there. We have got to, in my view, we've got to prove a few things before we can join that club. We've got to evolve a little bit more logically, and we've also got to demonstrate the ability. I think if we demonstrate the ability to do one of two things: transmit communication to the worlds successfully, or travel to other worlds successfully, then we will have an opportunity at that point to sit down with these people and discuss a pathway where we can become part of the universal group, if you want to call it that. But until we straighten a few things out here on Earth, if we have the time and the availability and the opportunity to do that, we're never going to be there. But Elon Musk could answer that question for humanity if he wanted to. I mean, I know the answer already. I've saw something and I was with my father when I saw it, so I know the answer to this question. But he could put it on a stage for everybody to understand that, and it might change just a few more people's attitudes to a few other things, and with that could change the distance in time in which we do have the opportunity to at least discuss joining the rest of the universal families. But like I said, we're at an awkward point in time. We've got a lot of things facing us. We've got to get through this COVID disease that was man-made, created in a laboratory in Wuhan whether it was purposely let out the cage or accidentally, is really irrelevant now. We've got to deal with it, and the last thing we want is this now mutating into something a lot worse, where even I was watching an interview with Elon Musk. He said it would be more concerning if all of a sudden we saw a lot of young people that were healthy just dying of this. We have seen a few, but in the majority of the cases it has affected just the weakest and the most vulnerable, and to the tune now of 300,000, which is an enormous amount of people. It's a big fuck up on China's behalf, and they do have to accept the blame. It's not the first time that things have leaked out of China. We've had SARS, bird flu, swine flu, you name it. And I'm just wondering how much patience has the world got left with a country that is so complacent in its ability to contain these things and share the information with the rest of the people in this world, so that we can take precautions before things get out of hand. We could have shut travel down a lot earlier than what we did and prevented this spreading as widely as it has. We could have contained this pandemic like we did with Ebola, but we didn't have the opportunity of knowledge of the fact that there was a problem because China had kept it quiet. And now, their offer of just £2 billion, to help fight the pandemic is nothing in comparison to what it has cost, really, every country around the world. There is now 100 countries that want an inquiry, and we all know why that is. It's because at some point there is going to be a demand on China for compensation for the losses and the damage done to the global economy as a result of their actions. We know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. We're already seeing the blame game being played out. We're already seeing Donald Trump saying, look, we know where it's come from. So it is just a matter of time. So, China's got a couple of options. Like I said, months ago when this first came out, you either start writing out some blank checks for countries, or you're very likely going to face crippling and severe sanctions, and possibly even a war. It would be sad if that happens, because if we can't resolve this in some form of manner, then it won't just be the fact that people have lost their lives through COVID-19. They'll also have lost their lives through a war, which could possibly lead to a third world war. And like the pole reversal, these things are overdue as well. Just strange times we're living in, isn't it, guys? Anyhow, I just thought I'd share a few of my thoughts this morning with you, and a few of my concerns with regards to the extended delay with regards to this pole reversal that we're in right now. And I think it's one of the most important anomalies of humanity, and for the simple reason that we've never experienced or catalogued the events of a pole shift. We just know from what we've studied about things like seafloor spreading around the Atlantic ridge, and when the magnetite sets, every time the pole reverses in a different format, we know by that it has taken so many thousand years to go through its reversals. And that's why I say, on average, used to go through a reversal every 300,000 years, and now we are 500,000 years overdue. And I just wonder, is our planet going to look like Mars in the not too distant future? It really is a major event that is taking place right now. There's no guarantee that the poles will reverse. I mean, we could just see a diminishing of the magnetosphere dwindle out, and that's it. No reversal, no poles. Then we're in even deeper trouble. And adding to that, we've got a grand solar minimum that hasn't reached equilibrium yet and started showing signs of replenishing those sunspots. So, you know, we are in uncharted territory for that reason alone, all those reasons. So guys, you know, afford yourself the time to enjoy what we've got. You know, enjoy that bacon sandwich. That's how we usually do. Link down there if you want to support what we do at the observatory. You know, we do build a lot of equipment and try and get you the answers, and try not to speculate too much. And I'll say what I usually do. You have a good day, as always. Bye for now.